Howdy, guys. Jimmy Song here. Welcome to another episode of Bitcoin Tech Talk. I apologize, first of all, for not being able to have done the show for the past couple of weeks. And that's because I've been traveling and doing other things, and I've been trying to get articles out. I know, it's no excuse. I should still try to get it even when I am in different countries and so on. I know Tone does a very good job of that, but yeah, I'm sorry. I just it's very hard for me when I'm traveling because I don't know how to set up and making sure that you have enough bandwidth, all that stuff tends to get kind of tricky. Anyway, good to be back. Let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff. Let me share my screen with you. So this is the newsletter I send out every Monday morning. I sent it out a little late because I forgot to resume the schedule and so on. But this is all. These are all of the stories. You can always subscribe using the link in the show notes. But yeah, we got a bunch of stuff for you. I probably should cover the last 2 weeks. Maybe if we have time, I'll do that. But this is what we're going to go over for today for certain. All right, so let's take a look at some of the stuff. Well, before I do that, let's see. We have my book. It's available on Amazon still, $40.59. For some reason, there's a used version for $35.99. So I guess you can get it even cheaper. So yeah, it continues to get cheaper. You can get new ones for about the same price. I guess that's not too bad. But yeah, it's on Amazon. Please take a look at it if you are interested in programming Bitcoin. Let's see other stuff. We also have my class in San Francisco. It's going to be on June 27th and 28th. We got maybe like 3.5 weeks to go before that happens. If you want to learn from me directly, I've taught over 500 people. This is going to be at the Blockchain Capital offices. And I will be teaching the material as I have to many other students. Yeah, sign up if you are interested, especially with the Bitcoin price being the way it is. Tends to be a pretty good time to sign up. All right, so with that out of the way, well, actually, let's do two more things. Breaking Bitcoin. I will be speaking at Breaking Bitcoin. This is coming up this week, this Saturday and Sunday. And I will be speaking twice, FUD, perceived versus real risks in Bitcoin. That's going to be interesting. I'm going to be on a panel with Eric Voskuil and Rodolfo Novak. And I am also speaking on Neutrino on the second day, good and the bad of Neutrino. So this should be a lot of fun. There's a lot of really good speakers, including a lot of people that you probably recognize. So yeah, I would encourage you to go to this if you are anywhere near Amsterdam. If you're in Europe, it's probably not too long of a flight. The other conference is Bitcoin 2019. This is going to be June 25th and 26th in San Francisco. This is right before the seminar I am holding, and it should be a lot of fun. I will be there and I will be speaking. Still under wraps exactly what I'll be speaking about, but hopefully we'll have an announcement for you soon. But I promise, if it does happen the way I think it will, then you will not want to miss it because it's going to be pretty fun. And it'll be one of those epic moments that you're going to want to have wished to witness live. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the stories from today. Let's see. Efficient TX Relay. This is Greg Maxwell and Peter Woolley contributed highly. This is a way in which you can do basically like more efficient bandwidth using mini set. What is that thing? It's a way to figure out who has what, which transactions, and then decrease the bandwidth as a result. The protocol is called Erlay, and it reduces bandwidth consumption by 40% using this. And it's pretty cool. We can go into the actual paper. Where's the actual paper? It's not going to show up here, is it? Copy link address. Maybe if I do this, it will show. No, it's a site as oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. All right, so this is the actual paper, and you can read through it. Essentially, they're using some very clever set theory to figure out who has what, and not transmitting things to peers when they already have it. And that's just really good design. There's a lot of technical detail which I haven't fully digested yet, but very efficient. There's been a bunch of stories about this in mainstream publications. You should definitely read the paper if you are interested in how set reconciliation, which is really the problem of mempools, right? Like you have multiple mempools and you want to know which ones you have that they don't and that they have that you don't, so that you can efficiently communicate those things. It's a very clever way to do it. I mean, it's just from a mathematical perspective, it's interesting. But yeah, it'll help the network once something like this gets in. All right, let's take a, by the way, that stuff is not at all consensus related. So we should be able to have some sort of a client that does this without requiring any sort of fork. It should just be sort of a feature on the network layer. Then again, Corey Fields told me like 2 years ago that they would upgrade the entire network stack and change some of the protocol stuff, but they still haven't. That was like two and a half years ago. So I don't know. Who knows when stuff like that will happen. I do know that because it's not consensus critical, if you have abilities to communicate that stuff to each other very quickly, this should be a really big win. I don't know if there's a BIP drafted for some of this networking layer stuff, but it would be really awesome if that comes to pass. Okay, let's take a look at this story: hedging mining difficulty. So Thomas Bloomer actually talked about how to hedge against some sort of minor difficulty getting increased way more than you think, using some sort of like a joint escrow and stuff. It's a clever way to do it. Again, I like, this is the sort of stuff that if you're interested in mining and using Bitcoin script to solve some of these problems, this a clever way to do it. It still requires an escrow and stuff like that, but it's still kind of cool. All right, last mile decentralization. This is from Coin Center, Richard Myers. The thing about Bitcoin is that it does require, or I mean, it doesn't necessarily require, but for the vast majority of people, you need some sort of internet connection in order to do it. And the thing about internet connections, especially sort of that last mile, is that you have internet service providers that have a lot of your data, including who you are and what you're doing. And if they're keeping logs of what you're doing, then they might be able to trace back that you broadcast this particular transaction, and that they can figure out that it was you that did it. And this is not just like pie in the sky stuff. This is how advertisers target you. If you see like ads following you around, first of all, you should be using some sort of ad blocker. And second, that's because the ad agency, or like all of the analytics companies, know how to combine all of that data to follow you around and figure out where you are and things like that. So This is basically solving that problem because all of us have some sort of an internet service provider, whether it be like Comcast or something at home, or your cell phone provider, whatever it is. They tend to be able to detect some of the privacy related stuff. Also, just it's kind of creepy that they know about that. And this is talking about, some ways in which we can decentralize that last mile, and that last mile is the domain of ISP. So why not have some sort of a mesh network that lets you broadcast? And this is related to what Samurai Wallet's been doing, especially with GoTenna and so on. The idea being that if you have something like that, then great. Now you can broadcast without sort of like a central point from which everything is routed, which is essentially what an ISP does. All right, let's take a look at this proposal. This is by James O'Byrne. Really interesting idea. This is assume UTXO. So we've been talking about UTXO snapshots for a while now. If you don't know, a large part of the syncing process when you first connect to the Bitcoin network is not necessarily downloading the 150 gigabytes of data. That should only take like an hour or so with a modern connection. It's also not about the write to your hard disk. That's done even faster. The hard part of downloading all of that is to generate the UTXO set. This requires going through every block and every transaction and figuring out which ones have been spent, which ones have not, and calculating this UTXO set. That calculation, that CPU binding, that tends to be the thing that slows your stuff down. Now, there've been a lot of real wins in efficiency in that regard, and that's why it only takes like 6 hours or so with a modern internet connection with a decent computer. I mean, your mileage may vary, of course, but that's what you get out of the core node. Now, this is a way to speed that up a little bit, and that is using something called UTXO snapshots. We've been, and this is not a new idea. This is something that core devs have been talking about forever. Essentially, it's a way to commit to a particular UTXO set at any given point, maybe to a Coinbase transaction or something like that. But this one is more sort of, okay, I already trust that this person has a state that's roughly at this point. And using that. Now, I think people should be validating as much as possible, but if you have like a second node that you want to run, you can use the first node to take a UTXO snapshot and sort of send it to you and speed that up. And this is essentially what that sort of thing is for. So really interesting proposal. Assume UTXO. I think it would be something like an RPC command, and then you give it like a 2 gigabyte or however large the UTXO set is, and do something like that. But great proposal. I would encourage you guys to take a look at it. Next story is from Galaxy Digital Global Research. I didn't realize they had a research arm, but this is a very good article talking about basically the Taproot proposal, which includes Taproot and Schnorr and SIG hash, the new SIG hash that they want to put in and all that stuff. So it goes through Schnorr and what some of the benefits are, Taproot and TapScript, what the benefits are there. I mean, kudos to Galaxy Research. This is a very readable article, and they did a very good job in summarizing a lot of that stuff in a reasonable manner. You can see what the actual wins are and what the actually costs are and so on. So please take a look at that. Let's look at this other article, 21 Levers of Moving Bitcoin Price, Part 1. This is from Chandra Dugirala. This is all about the monetary properties of Bitcoin and what the actual price levers are. Transactional demand, hodl demand, network size, And there's going to be a lot more on this. But yeah, it's a very it's good. It feels like it's going to be a very good series. Already you can tell like these are actual levers of Bitcoin demand. Obviously, people using it as a payment network, people using it as to hold or store value, and of course how big the network is. So all of those things contribute to the price. And this is something that if you're interested in the economic aspect, you should definitely take a look at. All right, this is from Willow Byrne, and this is about making a Lightning web app, part 2. Part 1 was published like a week before that, so this is a good follow-on. I guess he's planning to do one a week or so. But yeah, this goes over step by step what you need to do to make a Lightning app. And if you are interested in Lightning and have some experience in React and things like that, well, you can make a web app that does Lightning related stuff. So good article. Lightning 101 for exchanges. This is actually a very the last of a very long series on what you can expect with Lightning if you are an exchange. And these are the things that exchanges sort of have to think about. Now, not that many exchanges take Lightning at this moment, but this is something that they'll probably want to explore more, especially as Lightning gets more popular. So if you are part of an exchange, or if you're thinking about working for an exchange or starting an exchange, this is a good series to read. All right, and the last one is just sort of a little bit of news from the block. Bitfinex is looking to launch Tether on the Lightning Network by the end of the year. Apparently, speaking of Lightning and exchanges, they're starting to go down this path, despite, I don't know if they read this article or not, but hopefully they can figure out how to make all of this work. It would certainly be one of the, it would allow for atomic swaps and so on, which would be really useful. It's kind of strange though, because I view Liquid as more of the natural home for exchange to exchange transfers of, sort of backed centralized assets like Tether. So I'm not sure why they're not going in that direction and instead doing Lightning, but that's kind of what they're choosing to do. All right, so that's about it. As I said, here's Bitcoin 2019, and of course, Breaking Bitcoin. Those are the two conferences that I am speaking at next. My book is on Amazon, Programming Bitcoin. Still have it's still $40.59. And I have my next seminar in San Francisco in about 3.5 weeks. Please sign up if you are interested. I think pretty much, I have students all over the world now working at all sorts of different Bitcoin companies. So it's kind of a nice way to get involved in the community if this is the direction that you want to go in. Anyway, that is about it for today. Let me see if there are any questions from chat. Think that you and Tone will ever end up doing regular morning briefs again? Yeah, I mean, Tone and I have been talking about doing another one, but he keeps traveling, and coordinating things when you're traveling tends to be tough, especially for Tone because he likes to party and go out at night and do all that stuff. So oftentimes he's kind of like it's tough for him to schedule all of that stuff. That said, I mean, he does do like pricing videos, but a lot of those he can just do on his own without like checking in with anybody, which helps that out. I do plan to level up my game on my videos. Hopefully I can get some other perspectives as well on those. We'll see where I take my channel the next 6 months or so, but that's the plan anyway. I would love to I would love to have more of that stuff. And you know, I mean, Tona and I have great chemistry. We always have, and people tend to watch a lot of the stuff that we're both on. And but yeah, we'll work on something. Can't promise anything just yet, but yeah, there's some coordination issues. This is why Bitcoin's so valuable, guys, because all the coordination issues are solved with proof of work. Unfortunately, we don't really have anything like that with respect to time and coordinating meetings. So that said, if you want to figure something like that out, that's a good startup idea for you. Anyway, that was it for today, and I hope that helps you. This song is done.